Imagine this. It's a crisp spring morning in 1780, in the heart of revolutionary America. The sun rises as it always does, casting golden light over bustling farms and cobblestone streets. Birds sing, farmers till their fields, and the world hums with the promise of a new day. But then, something shifts. The sky takes on a sickly yellow hue, like bruised fruit. Shadows deepen unnaturally. By midday, the sun is gone, swallowed by an impenetrable blackness that turns noon into midnight. Candles flicker in homes where no one expected nightfall. Animals retreat in confusion. Flowers close their petals, and people whisper in terror. Is this the end? Judgment Day? A hidden curse upon the land? This isn't fiction. This is the dark day of May 19, 1780, a real historical mystery that plunged New England into darkness and fear. A forgotten phenomenon that baffled witnesses, sparked prophecies, and remains one of America's most enigmatic, unexplained events. Today, on Buried Truths 2.0, we dive into this hidden history, uncovering eyewitness tales, desperate theories, and the scientific truths that still leave shadows of doubt. Stick with us as we unravel the day the sun vanished from America. Let's set the scene in this investigative journey through forgotten history. It's the spring of 1780, and America is in the throes of revolution. The colonies are locked in a brutal war with Britain. Morale is low after defeats like the fall of Charleston just weeks earlier, and the air is thick with uncertainty. New England, that rugged cradle of independence, from the rocky coasts of Maine to the bustling ports of Boston and the quiet farms of Connecticut, is home to deeply religious Protestants. They see the world through a lens of divine signs. Every storm, every eclipse, a message from above. May 19 begins like any other. The sun crests the horizon around 4:30 a.m., painting the sky in soft pinks and oranges. Farmers like those in Ipswich, Massachusetts, rise early to tend crops. Sailors in Salem Harbor ready their ships. In Hartford, Connecticut, legislators gather for sessions, debating the war's toll. No one suspects this day will etch itself into the annals of mysterious discoveries. But subtle warnings had whispered in the days before. Witnesses later recalled the sun and moon glowing an unnatural red at dusk, as if stained by blood. The air carried a faint, acrid scent, like a distant hearth gone wild. Historians now point to this as early clues in our quest to explain the unexplained. As the morning progresses, around 9 a.m., the first anomalies appear. The sky shifts from blue to a brassy, yellowish tint. Shadows grow longer than they should. In Sudbury, Massachusetts, a woman named Experience Richardson notes in her diary that the light dims so gradually it is almost imperceptible at first, like a veil being drawn across the heavens. Birds fall silent mid-song. Crickets, those nocturnal heralds, begin their chirp prematurely. By 10 a.m., the transformation accelerates. In Boston, merchant Samuel Philip Savage scribbles in his journal, "The sky appeared a light grassy hue, nearly the color of pale cider, then a gloom nearly resembling that of an eclipse." He watches as the sun vanishes behind an invisible shroud. No clouds are visible, at least not the usual fluffy kind. Instead, a thick, oppressive haze descends, carrying the smell of soot and charred wood. This wasn't localized. Reports poured in from across New England, Portland in Maine, Providence in Rhode Island, even as far south as New Jersey shores and north into eastern Canada. The darkness enveloped an area roughly 300 miles wide, a massive swath of land where daylight fled without warning. Geographer Jeremy Belknap, writing from Boston, describes rivers turning inky black as if polluted by ash. Rain that fell tasted bitter, leaving sooty residues on skin and stone. What force could orchestrate such a widespread blackout? In this era before telegraphs or radios, news traveled by horseback or word of mouth slow and fragmented. Panic simmered in isolation, each town grappling with its own slice of the abyss. As we peel back these layers of hidden truth, it's clear this was no ordinary weather event. It was a harbinger of something deeper, a real mystery that tested the boundaries of faith and reason. Now, picture the peak of this eerie spectacle. By noon, what should be the brightest hour morphs into an artificial midnight. Candles are lit in every home, tavern, and meeting house. In Weston, Massachusetts, Savage experiments with his watch. Even holding it close to a window, he can barely make out the hands. "It was so dark," he writes, "that we could not see our hand before us. Fowls retreat to their roosts. Cows low uneasily and head for barns. Frogs croak as if evening has fallen." Samuel Tenney, a physician from Exeter, New Hampshire, provides one of the most vivid accounts in this historical mystery. The darkness was probably as gross as ever has been observed since the almighty Fiat gave birth to light. A sheet of white paper held within a few inches of the eyes was equally invisible with the blackest velvet. He notes the air's peculiar quality, thick, almost tangible, with a metallic tongue. Out at sea, sailors on vessels off the New England coast report the same. Compasses spin erratically. Lanterns are kindled on deck at midday. In one chilling tale from a Salem ship, the crew mistakes the gloom for a storm and reefs the sails, only to find no wind or rain, just suffocating blackness. The poet John Greenleaf Whittier captures the surreal horror in his work. "'Twas on a May day of the far old year, 1780, that there fell, over the bloom and sweet life of the spring, over the fresh earth and the heaven of noon, a horror of great darkness. Flowers, sensing the false night, fold their petals. The world inverts. Day creatures hide, night ones emerge. But it's the sensory details that make this unexplained phenomenon so haunting. Witnesses speak of an Egyptian darkness, echoing biblical plagues, a blackness you could feel. Water collected from roofs and rivers appeared sooty, black as ink. The moon, rising around 9 p.m., glows a blood-red hue before vanishing entirely, leaving stars obscured. No twinkling lights pierce the veil. It's as if the cosmos itself has been erased. In our investigative dive into this forgotten technology of nature, or was it? We must consider the scale. This wasn't a brief eclipse. It lingered for hours, easing only in the late afternoon in some areas, while others endured until dawn the next day. No thunder rolled, no lightning flashed, just silence, punctuated by the occasional cry of alarm. As the hours drag on, the question burns. What hidden force stole the sun? With daylight extinguished, human nature takes center stage in this dark chapter of American history. Fear spreads like wildfire, or perhaps like the unseen smoke that may have caused it. In a society steeped in Puritan beliefs, where sermons warned of sin and divine wrath, the dark day ignites apocalyptic terror. People flock to churches, taverns empty, as patrons seek solace in prayer. In New Haven, Connecticut, Yale's President Timothy Dwight recalls, "A very general opinion prevailed that the day of judgment was at hand. Men fall to their knees in fields, women weep in doorways, children cling to parents. Shouts echo through streets. The end is nigh." Reverend David Hall of Sutton, Massachusetts, gathers his flock and preaches on awakening to duty, seeing the gloom as God's call to repentance. Even the halls of power tremble. In Hartford, the Connecticut Council debates, adjourning amid the blackness. Candles are brought in, flickering against the void. But one man stands firm, Senator Abraham Davenport, a stoic figure in this tale of resilience. When colleagues urge fleeing to prepare for judgment, he retorts, "The day of judgment is either approaching or it is not. If it is not, there is no cause for an adjournment. If it is, I choose to be found doing my duty. I wish, therefore, that candles may be brought." His words cut through the panic, a beacon of reason in the storm. Not everyone reacts with piety. In Salem, sailors, perhaps emboldened by rum, mocked the fear. dancing on decks as if celebrating the devil's own holiday. Loyalists, still sympathetic to Britain, whisper that the darkness is a curse on the rebellious colonies, the devil spreading his wings over traitors. The war adds layers to the dread. With British forces advancing, some see the event as an omen of defeat. Diaries overflow with entries linking the gloom to sins like extortion and greed. Poems and broadsides circulate warning, "See how the rod of God doth check, the laws of nature sway." In this real mystery, isolation amplifies the horror. Without modern communication, rumors swirl unchecked. One town hears of earthquakes to the north, another of fiery mountains erupting. The air's sooty scent fuels tales of hellfire breaking through the earth. As night falls, earlier and deeper than ever, the moon's crimson glow only heightens the biblical parallels. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, from the book of Joel. Yet amid the chaos, acts of humanity shine. Neighbors share candles, families huddle together, reciting psalms. This hidden history reveals not just fear, but the fragility of a young nation on the brink. What if this was no divine sign, but something more earthly? Our search for answers continues. As the darkness lifts the next day, slowly, with the sun re-emerging through a hazy veil, New England breathes a collective sigh. But the questions linger, fueling a wave of amateur investigations that mark this as a pivotal moment in Enlightenment thinking. Newspapers become forums for debate, soliciting accounts from readers. The Independent Chronicle in Boston publishes letters describing timelines, colors, and odors. Geographer Jeremy Belknap writes to a friend, "The air had the smell of a malt house or a coal kiln," noting black residues in water. He collects reports, piecing together the puzzle. Initial explanations vary wildly, blending faith and fledgling science. Many cling to supernatural causes, a biblical plague, God's warning amid wartime sins. Clergyman Samuel Gatchell calls it a forerunner of some extraordinary event. Others dismiss eclipses. Astronomical records show none match the date or duration. Scientific minds propose natural culprits. Viator, a pseudonymous writer, experiments with candles and shadows, concluding smoke from distant forest fires mixed with vapors. He notes smoke from the woods, which had been burning for many days, condensed by winds, with sooty rain as proof. Peripatetic argues for layered clouds refracting light, pointing to brassy hues and rapid shifts. Harvard professor Samuel Williams compiles a seminal 1785 essay for the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, drawing on eyewitnesses. He highlights unusually large spring fires in New Hampshire and Vermont, used for land clearing. Combined with a cold snap from the Little Ice Age, winters so harsh the ground stayed frozen, these created an inversion layer trapping smoke aloft. Other theories falter. No major volcano erupted in 1780, ruling out ash clouds. Meteors? No impacts reported. A farmer scoffs at smoke alone as simple and absurd, insisting on divine intervention. Sir John Herschel later declares, "The dark day in North America was one of those wonderful phenomena of nature, which philosophy is at a loss to explain." This era's inquiries reflect a shift from blind faith to empirical curiosity. Newspapers urge readers to observe and report, fostering a proto-scientific community. Yet the mystery endures, buried in archives, waiting for modern tools to unearth the truth. What secrets did those tree rings hold? Fast forward 2 centuries, and this historical mystery finds new light through advanced science. In 2008, researchers at the University of Missouri's Tree Ring Laboratory announce a breakthrough, published in the International Journal of Wildland Fire. Fire scars reveal source of New England as 1780 dark day, using dendrochronology, studying tree rings as ecological artifacts. They examine scars from ancient pines in Ontario's Algonquin Highlands. These reveal massive wildfires raging in 1780 during a severe drought. Flames scorched vast forests, sending plumes of smoke skyward. Erin McMurray, a research assistant, explains, "The patterns in tree rings tell a story. We can tell when there has been a fire or drought and unlock the history the tree has been holding for years." The fires produced thick smoke columns that traveled hundreds of miles, combining with low-lying fog and clouds to block sunlight. This advection inversion, warm air over cold ground, trapped the soot, creating the opaque barrier. Witness accounts align. The ashy scent, black rain, red-tinted celestial bodies, all hallmarks of wildfire smoke. No supernatural forces, just nature's fury, amplified by human land-clearing practices. Comparisons to modern events bolster this. In 1950, a dark day hit North America from Alberta fires, sparking similar panic, thoughts of nuclear attacks or eclipses. Australia's bushfires have caused yellow skies and darkened days. Satellites now track such phenomena, but in 1780, it was terra incognita. Yet, is it fully explained? The sheer scale, darkness over thousands of square miles, still puzzles. Why that exact day? Were there contributing factors like minor volcanic activity or atmospheric anomalies? This mysterious discovery reminds us, even solved enigmas leave threads untied. As we emerge from the gloom of 1780, what buried truths does this dark day reveal? In an age of satellites and instant answers, it's easy to forget how fragile our grasp on reality once was. This real mystery, a day when the sun vanished, shows how fear can eclipse reason, yet curiosity can reclaim the light. It warns of environmental hubris. Those 1780 fires, sparked by settlers clearing land, echo today's wildfires amid climate change. Hidden histories like this urge us to question omens, seek evidence, and honor the unseen forces shaping our world. Thank you for joining Buried Truths 2.0 on this journey into forgotten phenomena. If this unexplained event intrigued you, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more dives into historical mysteries. What dark secret should we uncover next? Comment below. Until then, keep seeking the light in the shadows.